What's up guys, and welcome to another video on this channel. Welcome to another league squad building challenge. Today we will complete the Major League Soccer squad building challenge. As you see in this picture, I already completed 4 of the 20 teams in the past just by opening random packs and completing teams when I was only missing 1 or 2 players. But in the past 1 or 2 weeks I acquired all of the remaining players from the remaining 16 teams. So now we will complete all the squads, cash in on them and open the packs. Now the overall reward for this league is a special Giovinco card, 86 rated center forward, as well as 20,000 coins, plus obviously the individual packs from the teams that you kill will cash in. Now, I obviously have been doing the bronze pack method for quite some time, for around 2 months now, so I had basically all the bronze players from all the remaining 16 teams. I had some of the silver players, some of the gold players just from opening packs over time and from the weekly reward packs, but I was obviously missing some players. I guess on average I was missing 40% of the players in the MLS, so I had to buy them. In total I think it cost me around 60,000 coins buying the remaining players. Now the packs that we will get from cashing in on those 16 teams are worth more than 100,000 coins, just a little bit over the 100,000 coin mark. So just from a coin perspective and a pack's worth perspective, it makes sense. Will it make sense eventually? I don't know. We will see when we open the packs, but I was confident enough that, or I am confident enough that we won't make too much of a loss in the worst case. Ideally, obviously, we will pack some amazing players, some silver rare cards that go for a little bit, maybe some nice gold rare cards. Obviously, also Team of the Year currently in packs, but I think the gold packs, there's only 5 in total when we cash in all those teams. The majority are silver packs, but obviously silver cards this year especially are worth quite a bit when you pack them from the right team. Now, when we cash on the individual teams, I will also tell you some about each team, what I did to make it to make the price as low as possible building those teams. Now there is one team, basically there's one team in every squad building challenge league that sucks to complete. There's also one in the MLS which sucks quite a bit to complete, and I will tell you all about this team in a little bit. But with that said, let's get started with completing the individual teams. We will start off with Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire has no special requirement, just a general rating and chemistry requirement. We meet them both. We have 2 chemistry points leeway, but nonetheless, in this team particular, I used this striker as a center forward, which is the thing that I did quite a bit in some teams, particularly the ones where the midfield was pretty expensive. You can convert the striker to a center forward. It will not cost you that much chemistry. I think he is on 9 chemistry right now. Yes, indeed he is. So that's a method where you can basically use cheaper players in a position where you would usually have to buy some expensive player for. Obviously, with a rating requirement of 95, you also have some leeway to use players totally off cam. I, for instance, used the goalkeeper as a center back. That said, let's cash in. We will get 1 gold pack from this challenge. The next team is Colorado Rapids. We already had Tim Howard, for instance, in goal. I had to acquire some of the defenders, some of the midfield. I use basically a common theme in my teams. I use the second goalkeeper in the midfield here. Other than that, we meet the rating requirement and the chemistry requirement. There's also a special requirement for nationalities. However, this team has plenty of nationalities, as you can see. Obviously, majority is American, but we have a bunch of other nationalities in here as well to complete that requirement. We will get 1,000 coins as well as one 2 players pack. So later we will see what we will get in that pack as well. Next up is the Columbus Crew. Basically a simple one to complete. You can use quite a few bronze players. Team rating is not that high. We need 67, which we get, and the chemistry requirement we also meet. And again, second goalkeeper in the squad just to avoid buying more expensive players. Let's cash that in as well, and we got 1 premium gold pack, one of the better rewards for the MLS teams. Next up is FC Dallas. FC Dallas has 1 particular requirement to use 1 Argentinian players, which we do by playing this, I think he's a striker actually again, the striker as a cam by converting him to a center forward to get the maximum chemistry out of him. So let's cash that team in as well, and we get another premium gold pack. Next up is Houston Dynamo. Houston Dynamo has no special requirement, just a general rating and chemistry requirement. So let's just cash that in right away. We get a premium silver players pack, one of the better packs this year, especially with the rare silvers from the squad building challenge leagues. They can go for quite a bit. Next up is Los Angeles Galaxy, one of the teams that has the highest rating requirement in this league, but obviously also has some decent players. So as you can see, the 96 requirement, and we have 72 rating points. There's the requirement for 2 goal players, which is somewhat of a special requirement for this team. Other than that, just the usual rating and chemistry requirements, which, as I said, we perfectly meet. And we get a 1 gold players pack for that team. Let's cash that in as well and move on to the next team, which is Montreal Impact. Montreal Impact has the special requirement for 2 Canadian players, but obviously as a Canadian team, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Canadian players. Not a problem at all to meet this requirement. Chemistry and overall rating also not an issue. We get 500 coins as well as the 1 gold pack for this team. Next up is New England Revolution. New England Revolution was one of the teams I completed last. You can play around somewhat with the defenders. As you can see, there's plenty of defenders to choose from. I picked this guy as well as Barnes as the right pack. At the moment of purchase, they were the cheapest ones. And I also use 1 striker and a left mid in the defensive positions, just because I have some chemistry leeway and to avoid paying more for more expensive defenders. We get 1 silver players pack for this team. And the next one we are going to hand in is New York Red Bulls. New York Red Bulls, similar strategy as before. We use a striker in midfield by converting him to a center forward. And this guy again is on 9 chemistry, similar to the one we saw earlier. You don't lose chemistry at all basically, but you avoid paying much more for the center attacking midfielder, which I think in this case was this guy, who went for around 4,000 coins. This guy, what did I pay for him? 500 coins plus obviously the position change, let's say another 500. So I paid 1,000 instead of 4,000, a gain of 3,000 coins. Not too bad, not a big deal, but obviously if you do this multiple times for multiple teams, it saves you quite a bit of money. No special requirement in this team other than chemistry and rating, which as you can see in the top right, we perfectly meet. And we get 1,000 coins and a premium silver pack for handing in this squad. The next team is the rival in New York City FC, with David Villa in the striker position. One particular requirement, use a goal player, which we have 2 of, so no big deal at all. Chemistry and rating also not an issue. We get a 2 rare gold players pack as well as 1,000 coins for handing in this squad. Now next up is Orlando City. No special requirement, also not a particularly difficult team. You can use quite a few bronze players that will go for, let's say, between 500 and 1,000 coins the most. Rating requirement 67, not an issue. Chemistry 95, also not an issue. And again, I'm not using the goalkeeper, but I'm playing a cam as a left mid. It loses obviously some chemistry, but there's quite some leeway that you can use here. We get a gold pack finding in this team. The next team we'll look at is Philadelphia Union. Philadelphia Union, I think the one player in particular that was a little bit harder to get was this center attacking mid. But if you wait patiently, obviously there's no time limit on completing those squad building challenges. You are able to get him for a somewhat reasonable price. No special requirement here, 68 rating, which we meet perfectly, as well as the chemistry requirement, which we also almost perfectly meet. So let's hand in that team as well for a 1 premium silver players pack. Again, one of the better rewards this year. Next up is Portland Timbers. Portland Timbers, I think I used in one of my first videos when I was using the 2 Englishmen the two English center backs as my defense in the Englishman Abroad video. So check that out in the channel if you're interested. I use one of the two in here as well. Other than that, nothing too special here, and also not a special requirement. Basically the same requirement that most teams have: 68 requirement in terms of rating, 95 requirement in terms of chemistry. Both of them we fulfill perfectly, and the rest obviously not an issue. We get one premium silver pack as well as 500 coins for this challenge. Now the final teams, the first one is San Jose. A lot of silver players on this team, however they weren't too expensive. Still reasonable prices for most of them, also not a special requirement, and only a 67 rating requirement, so that obviously allows you to avoid a lot of rare silver players from that team. We get a silver players pack for handing in this squad. Now, Sporting KC is that team that sucks in this league. It's basically the Toulouse of the Major League Soccer. A lot of the players go for a lot of coins because of one special requirement. You can have at most 5 United States players, which in this team sucks quite a bit. You can see we use 5 of them, obviously, because they are the cheapest ones in their team. But other than that, with 11 players on the team, obviously, you have to use 6 non-Americans, which basically pushes the market in a situation where those players go for quite a bit. As you can see when we look at the individual players, Mustafa, for instance, I bought for 4.4k. Dwyer I bought for 4.6. Olum I bought for 6.1. Miranda 4.5. So they are, it's not huge amounts, but if you have to buy 5 or 6 players, it adds to quite a bit in total. And also if you look at the reward, you only get a 2 rare gold players back. It's not reasonable at all, actually. I just did it to complete the league. Obviously was the last team I was missing, so to get the overall reward I had to basically bite the bullet and buy those players. But I think the requirements and the reward, they don't match at all. It should be a much better pack as a reward, or a much easier requirement. Make it 7 or 8 United States players max, which would still be reasonably expensive to get the remaining 3 cards. But yeah, I think that's somewhat of a misconfiguration in terms of setting up this challenge. Nonetheless, we hand it in, we get a 2 rare gold players pack, as I said before, and now I will never have to look at this challenge again, which is also obviously somewhat of an achievement. Now the final team that I still had to complete was Toronto FC. Obviously we get Giovinco as a reward, who plays for Toronto. We do not hand him in yet. We do not need him at all on this team. We use Bradley as well as Altidore as the only gold cards. Other than that, besides rating and chemistry, you only have this gold requirement. But as I said, we have 2 gold cards in the team, so not an issue at all. We get a 1 premium gold pack, and with handing in this team, we should be done with the overall challenge as well. As you can see on the screen, we did it, guys. We completed the MLS squad building challenge. So let's collect the overall rewards as well. We get the special Giovinco card, 86 rated center forward, 91 pace, 91 dribbling, 85 shooting, as well as 83 passing. Not too bad. Plus he's Italian, so you can pair him up nicely with some of the European League Italians in the forward and midfield position, as well as 20,000 coins. Now, in terms of rewards, I said from a coin value or from a pack value, we made some profit. Whether we make an actual profit, we are going to see now when we look at the packs and open them one by one. First off, again, Giovinco special card. We will send him to the club. Nice addition to the Russian and the Eredivisie guy. But with that said, let's switch to the store. Now, as you can see, we have 19 packs. We only completed 16 teams, though. That is because I still have 3 packs in here from the Super Deluxe version rewards that we're also going to open now. Let's start with the double loan team of the week pack. I usually, like every week, I don't expect much. Probably one of the Italian center backs. We get a Argentinian center forward from the Italian league. We get Gomez. Obviously nothing too crazy here. And the second card that we are getting is indeed one of the Italian defenders. It's Piccini from the Sevilla team. As I said, nothing worth mentioning really. Let's just store that to the club and open the 2 Jumbo Premium Gold Packs, guys. Obviously, nice team of the week out there with Higuain in the striker position, as well as at the moment of filming this video, the goalkeeper and the defenders of the team of the year are in packs. So let's see what we can get from those 2 packs. No big flair, a rare card though. We get the Hoffenheim goalkeeper Baumann. Obviously a good card. I think I have, no, I do not have him already. Good card for preparing for the Bundesliga squad building challenge that I expect around in the next probably 1 or 2 weeks. Once the team of the year is basically out of packs, I expect them to release another league pretty soon. We also get let's store them all in the club. We also get a Besiktas player, which is nice for the Super League squad building challenge, as well as Markovic and Lindegaard as duplicates that we send to the transfer list. The rest we send to the club. Now the final Super Deluxe version reward pack. Let's go through that quickly before we go to the MLS reward packs. We get a center defensive mid from Arsenal. It's Coquelin, solid worker, center defensive mid. I will definitely use him in my Premier League team as basically as a substitute when I need fitness on my main team. Other than that, another Turkish player, which is nice, even though I think I already completed that team and we store him to the team nonetheless. Obviously a lot of consumables and 1 duplicate player from Besiktas that we'll send to the transfer list. And those cards we sell. Now, MLS reward packs, we paid around 60,000 for completing the challenge. Packs worth are in total a little bit over 100,000 coins. Let's see if we can make it indeed at least to the 60,000 coin mark. We start with a premium silver pack. Let's see what we get. We get a Turkish, if I'm not mistaken, Super League player here. Indeed from the Super League. Even though he doesn't go for much, but since we don't have him, we can definitely use him in our squad building challenge. Other than that, nothing too crazy in this team. Let's send this guy to the transfer list and sell those 2 balls. Next up is another premium silver pack. Let's skip that one. It's a Swedish center back from the Italian league. Other than that, we get nothing really worth mentioning. So we just send it to the team, and the Toyota guy we send to the transfer list and sell this guy. Should be careful with my transfer list spots though, as we have 14 packs to go through. Next up are a couple of gold packs. No rare card here, so let's just skip that right away as we get Raggi from Monaco. Pretty good for the squad building challenge though, and other than that, nothing too crazy. Let's send that all to the club, sell the batch, and go to the next gold pack. After that, 1 more gold pack, and then we go into the better packs. Also not a rare card here, so let's skip that as well right away. We get Romero, as well as another Turkish player or Brazilian player from the Super League. Other than that, nothing too crazy. Again, guys, I'm still waiting for for a card that's worth at least somewhat. Maybe in that gold pack. A rare card would be nice for a change, and we again get not a rare card that we do not have yet. We get St. Pauli player who's rare, as well as a Spanish player. I've used him in quite a few squad building challenges as of late, so it's not too bad to get him in the team. However, so far, nothing that comes even close to make the challenge worthwhile. So let's hope we can get something decent in the premium gold packs. No rare card again, as we get Fernandez from Stade Rennes, if I'm not mistaken. So he will go into the Ligue 1 squad building challenge. And we can store everything in the team before we go to the next premium gold pack. Finally, a rare card at least. From Bournemouth, we get Jack Wilshere, who should be a duplicate. The rest we can just send to the team. We get nothing worth mentioning here. We get Wilshere and Drimich as duplicates, so we put those on the transfer list to sell them later on. One more premium gold pack. Di Maria on the pack. However, he's not in it as there's not even a rare card in here. We get Sansone and Albrighton in the pack, as well as a Mexican Liga Bancomer player in the duplicates. And quick sell the stadium. Now, what do we have left? We have one gold players pack, a couple of silver players packs, premium silvers packs. I expect quite a bit from those two packs, and then we have the rare gold players packs. One of them from the ridiculous sporting team with the ridiculous requirements. We get a Russian right back. Again, nothing that comes even close to making the 60,000 coin investment worthwhile. Anything else here that is usable? We get Obadi that can go into the squad building challenge. And that, quite a few duplicates. Let's probably not use them all. Let's put those 3 on the transfer list. Oh, let's put them all on the transfer list for now. And hope we don't need all the spots. We have one silver players pack. Now, silver players packs and premium silver players packs this year are definitely the source of or can be the source of quite some coins, depending on the league. As you can see, we switch to the leagues at the bottom. However, we get one MLS player from the San Jose team that we can sell later, as well as another Portuguese or Liga NOS player and a Mexican player that we can use in the squad building challenges. Next silver players pack with Harry Kane on it, obviously not in it, but who are we gonna get? We get Bonilla. And as far as squad building challenges are concerned, we get nothing really. Russia obviously has a squad building challenge, but I did not see the players increase in value that much, to be honest. When the challenge came out, they increased a little bit, but afterwards it was basically back to the usual value. But now, guys, we have two premium silver players packs. Not one rare, but 3 rares in those packs. So let's see whether we can hit some squad building challenges cards that go for quite a bit, at least not on the first attempt. We get a couple of Japanese players, but no player really that is useful in terms of squad building challenges or selling in case it was a duplicate. And now we really come into trouble as far as transfer list spots are concerned. Let's send them all to the transfer list for now, as there's only 4 packs remaining. But I think only this pack would be causing trouble, as we get a Tigres player, Ayala. He's obviously useful for us, but again, not worth much in terms of coins. Other than that, we get a Basel player. Swiss League might be another league that can come out anytime soon, probably paired with one of the big ones. Obviously, the big 4 have not been released yet, and as I think the Swiss reward would be a silver card. obviously in a special format, but the player is now a silver player, so I would assume they would pair it with one of the better leagues. Now also Malbranc, a Ligue 1 player that we can use. Other than that, nothing worth mentioning. So let's send all those cards to the team and Santa Maria to the transfer list. And now we have the 3 players packs, 2 players in each of them, 1 rare in the first one, 2 rare in the last 2. Let's see what we'll get. Those 3 packs will basically determine if it was worth completing the Giovinco squad building challenge. Let's start with the first one. Not a big flair, so obviously nothing too crazy in here. We get Bakambu from the Liga BBVA and another Liga BBVA striker in there as well. Now 2 rare gold players packs. At this point I'm not expecting to even break even. I just want some decent cards. We get Gonalons. Might have him already. I have both of them actually. Buffal. I use him quite a bit in my Premier League team. Unfortunately, I have both of them already. Now the final pack, Major League Soccer Squad Building Challenge reward packs. No big flair, guys. We get Berkey. Obviously not the player that we want. The second player is Zaha, as we managed to get our transfer list right to 100 items, which is pretty neat actually, but obviously we did not get the cards that we were hoping for. There was a nice team of the week in packs. There were obviously the team of the year cards in packs, the defenders as well as the goalkeeper, but with our 60,000 coin investment in the Major League Soccer, I don't think we broke even. We obviously did not make a profit. I will sell those players and then we'll post in the comments how much of a loss I made. And with that said, I will see you in the next video.